Hey you, welcome back to my channel. For those who have been following, this is the third episode of Why Are You Still Single? And I'm sure if you've been following, you have been enjoying this series because we have been talking about premium, stuffs that will change your life forever. Now, if this is your first time joining us here, welcome. Welcome, we love you. Welcome. And I want to say thank you for dropping by. You are literally going to have the time of your life just watching this. I can promise you that. Now, if you have been watching episode 1, 2, and you are now on 3 of Why You're Still Single, and you haven't subscribed, just do that now. Otherwise, don't continue this video. All right, I'm just kidding, but please just subscribe. Subscribe, like, we want you to do that so that we can reach more people. And we know that the content is good, so more people can get to hear about this. And we change many more lives, all right? Now, if this is your first time, please go back and watch the previous 2 episodes because the third episode is just going to, take off from where we talked about in the last, the 2 previous episodes. All right, so we're talking about singleness and then the importance of singleness, and we're trying to answer the question why people are getting into one relationship and coming out faster than they got in. We're talking about why people, seem to attract the wrong kind of people into their lives. They want the guy that is like this or the girl that is like that, but it's the opposite. Like what I ordered versus what I got. So that's another thing we're talking about. And finally, we're also talking about people who literally have no one coming around. Like the girl says, it's been 3 years, nobody has looked at me. And the guy is saying that, man, I really like her, but all the girls keep putting me in the friend zone. Like I'm just a bro. What am I supposed to do? So we're talking about how to come out of that phase, work on your singleness, maximizing your singleness. And I think from the first episode, we said that singleness is the foundation for your entire life, not just your relationship. All right, because or marriage, because marriage is not the entirety of your life. You need to understand that the purpose of life is not marriage. All right, the purpose of life is the purpose that God has given you. And marriage is just something that God has given you so that you can have help, companionship, and do it faster and better, all right, if you know how to do marriage right. And then, of course, you have to know your purpose. So we talked about all that, the importance of singleness, how to be single. We talked about 3 major things under that, but I'm not just going to go back into all that. Then last episode, we talked about, I love that, self-awareness. I love self-awareness. I mean, one of the things that I think that God has really helped me to do, and I've really improved at, is self-awareness. I am aware of my thoughts, my emotions, my values, my actions, both personally and publicly, and how to harness every single thing to make the right decisions to move my life in the direction I want to go. Very key. We talked about people not understanding anything about self-awareness. They don't know why they are sad. They don't know why they are happy. They don't know. They're not dealing with the issues that they've carried on, baggages that they've carried for years. We also talked about the public self-awareness. And that's a very funny one where people don't know they're overly loud. They don't know they talk too much. And then nobody wants to talk to them because they're either over talking, taking over the conversation, and then they're too self-absorbed, and everything has to revolve around them, and people just don't want to be around you. Or the guy or the lady who has, the bad breath and the bad body odor, and doesn't realize that the reason why the girls are saying no is because you're driving them away by, the odors. So we talked a lot about that, and we talked about tips on becoming more self-aware. It's a good one. And I think I told them that I might actually do a quick course on self-awareness. I'm really hoping I have enough time to do that because, we're busy. But we'll see if we are able to do something around that later on this year, so they can help you become a better version of you. All right, so we stopped last episode of self-awareness, and I said that this episode, we're going to be talking about self-development. You can call it personal development, you can call it growth, and these 3 things, understanding your singleness and maximizing singleness, all right, self-awareness and self-development. These 3 things are the 3 pillars that you need for you to effectively maximize your singleness, all right, this season of singleness, and make you irresistible, honestly, to anyone that you desire to attract. or to have in your life. All right. So what is self-development? We all know this. We all know this, that change is the only constant thing. You know that who you are today is not who you were last week, is not who you were last year, is not who you were 2 years ago. All right? Something is changing. It's either you're changing physically, mentally, spiritually, but definitely you are going to be changing. Nothing is constant in this world. All right, so let's agree on that fact, okay? Who you are today is not who you need to be in 2 years' time, all right, because you need to have morphed, improved, changed, developed into who that version of you requires. So self-development is not a foreign or an alien concept to anybody. We all know that change is the only constant thing. All right, something has to change. Otherwise, you are declining. Otherwise, you are, really going down. That's really what it is. It's either you're becoming stale, you're becoming a dinosaur, or you are not making progress in life. So self-development is very key for you to always be ahead and maximize your singlehood. All right, and I said simply that self-development is the act of enhancing or refining yourself in many ways. It's that simple. You are enhancing, you are refining yourself in very many ways. And like I said earlier on, you need to grow in different aspects of your life: physically, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually. You have to improve your habits, you have to improve your choices, you have to change your activities. Now, how does self-development mean help me in my singlehood? That's the question a lot of people will be asking. What does self-development have to do with, how does it correlate with me getting into a relationship or getting married or being a happy person? It has everything to do with it. It has everything to do with it. The version of you right now is what is producing the results you have. And I think I said this earlier. If you see that you are consistently desiring something, you want to get into something or get something out of life, and it's just not working, don't look outside first, look inside. All right? You are in and out of relationships. You have nobody asking you out. You have people, more of repelled to you, not attracted to you. All right? It's not because of them. Don't come and say it's because men are scum. Don't come and say it's because all girls are materialistic. No. There's something that you are right now. There's something on the inside of you right now that is producing what you see in your life. So if you want to change your outcome in life, don't start from the outside, start from the inside. And that's where self-development comes in. All right, let's take a quick example of a lady or a guy who always says that I always seem to attract the wrong kind of people. First thing you want to see is that who are you? Where are you? The people that you are attracting, what level are you? I listened to something recently and I think it's very, very, very apt that low quality people would attract low quality people into their lives. High value people would attract high value people into their lives. All right? So if you want to attract high value people into your lives, if you want to attract better sets of people into your life, you have to become that first. You have to be. And the road to becoming high value or attracting more high value people into your life is simply self-development. And like I said, change is the only constant thing. So you're either changing for good or you're changing for bad. But trust me, you're changing. Okay? One of the things I see a lot with a lot of young ladies or young men is that the last time they developed themselves was the last time they were in school. Self-development doesn't even really happen in the four walls of the school. All right? It can, but that's not the only place. You see people who the last time they read anything or learned anything or did anything new was when they did graduation from school. And you see a lot of ignorant people saying, when I get out of uni, even signpost I won't read. I'm not reading anything, I'm not developing. You see, you can't do that. You can't do that. You are just shortchanging yourself if you actually do that. You have to consistently develop yourself. All right? So self-development is the capacity for you to shape your habits, to shape your ideas, to shape your attitudes, your emotions, and behaviors in order to overcome challenges or to create your own character. All right, so after self-awareness, what you need to get into is self-development, because there's no point in becoming self-aware and then you don't do anything about your self-awareness. All right, so once you understand who you are self-aware, you then have to move into self-development. That's just the next thing that you need on that journey of becoming who that maximizing your singlehood. Okay, so it's important that we have self-development. I wrote a few reasons why you must have this thing called self-development. You must go through personal growth and development. Is number one, it helps your self-esteem. I can't overstress this. One of the reasons why people have low self-esteem is because of the way they see themselves. They think of themselves. So you see someone who feels like, I'm not good at anything. And I can relate to this because I suffered self-esteem for a long portion of my life. Growing up, I wasn't really good at anything. And I say this often, I wasn't really good at anything. I wasn't the best at my studies. I wasn't the best at doing crafts. I wasn't the best at speaking. I wasn't the best at looking good. When you put all the people I grew up with, together, and then you put me in the mix, there was nothing special about me. So there was a mindset I had because I wasn't good at anything. And I told myself I was good for nothing. I was not anything special. That's what I used to tell myself over and over again. And you see, one thing that happens with self-esteem is that you've sold yourself that truth or that lie, I think it's a lie, so much so that you then eventually not begin to do anything. You don't aspire for anything. You go into that relationship or you go into that job and you feel like, I'm easily replaceable. This boy cannot love me. This girl will not love me. And that's because consistently your habits and your actions and your convictions have proven that to you. When you start developing yourself and you start winning on certain things, what happens is that your habits, are changing. For example, you never used to read or you never used to be able to speak in the public, all right? You start learning how to speak in the public. You start learning how to do certain things. What then happens is the more you win, the more confident you get. The more confidence you get, the more your self-esteem is improved because you start to see yourself as more of someone who is winning and not losing. So self-esteem is the number one way. Self-development is the number one way for you to change your self-esteem. If you have self-esteem issues, go and develop yourself. Thank God for having the Word of God that gives us an identity and helps us, describe who we are from God's standpoint, but that is not enough. You can't just say, I am a child of God, I'm someone going somewhere to go and blow. You have to put your hands, to the plow. You have to put your feet, your boots on the ground and begin to develop yourself. You give yourself tasks, you give yourself goals, and then the more you start winning, the more you feel good about yourself. I remember when I first became a pastor, I knew God had called me. I knew God had said, oh, your voice will get to the ends of the earth. Arise, shine, your light has come. The glory of the Lord is risen upon you. And I was identifying myself and defining myself from what God said. But because I had never done anything consistent with that, I felt like I wasn't a good pastor. So what I needed to win was to have the Word of God, the wisdom of God, the idea of God in my heart, and then get better at what I was doing. So I had to learn how to speak better. I had to learn how to love people. I had to learn what it meant to be a pastor. And I was doing that over and over. I kept on developing myself. I kept on going into the book, reading books. And you know what? The more I won, the more I became more confident, that I am a pastor. I am called of God. So even though God had told me that, back then, it wasn't until I got into the routines. Do you get it? It wasn't until I got into the routines and I started winning consistently, developing myself, that I became more confident and my self-esteem, went higher. So that's one of the ways that, I overcame self-esteem issues back then. So number one thing that personal development will do for you is that it increases your self-awareness or your self-esteem. Second thing is that it makes you mentally fit. We live in a generation where a lot of people, their minds are caving in. Mental health. I was listening to a broadcast recently and someone said that mental health is one of the top 10 killers even in Nigeria. And I was shocked. I thought it was just a, Western problem. Apparently, mental health issues are real in our day and in our time. That's why you see people breaking down. You see a young girl gets into a corporation or gets into a relationship, or a young guy gets into a business, and his mental health is so bombarded. He's unable to continue the business. It affects his relationship, affects his marriage, and you see them spiraling out of control. When you start self-development, it helps you become mentally fit. All right? And that helps you against every kind of mental illness. Another thing is that it creates resilience, and I love this. It makes you tough. It makes you strong. It makes you not fall at anything. It makes you keep pushing. Because even when you find the man of your dreams or the woman of your dreams, guess what? You would always get to points where issues will arise. Anyone who's been married for 10 minutes will tell you that, all right? So you see, the issue is not finding this perfect spouse that, will never annoy you. It's impossible. The person will definitely get on your nerves. But when you have developed yourself, enough to be in that relationship, to be that kind of person who is maximizing their lives, you develop resilience. Whatever happens, we're going to work this out because there's something I can do to make it better. There's something we can do to make this better. So it helps you, have greater resilience. You have a strong mental fitness. You are ready to go into challenges. Self-development is like breakfast for me. It's something that I long to do every time. Another thing it does is that it gives you more knowledge. All right, it improves your skills. It makes you more, attractive, more conversational. It makes people want to have conversations with you. One of the things I see a lot is that you meet a guy and a girl, and then both of them start talking, and then you realize that after a while, the intellectual capacity doesn't match. Like all the girls wants to talk about is maybe keeping up with the Kardashians or talking about Big Brother Naija, and the guy is like, I don't understand. Like, what's your plan for wealth creation? And all she's saying is, you know what? I just want to do buying and selling. I just want to open a shop and sell shoe and sell bag. And they're like, I don't understand. What does that mean? And he's talking about bigger things like, do you have a portfolio? Yeah, I have a portfolio. One bag, one portmanteau that I kept in my room. And he's like, I don't understand. Now, all these things I'm talking about, you don't learn it in school. You have to develop yourself. You have to know stocks. You have to know shares. You have to know wealth creation techniques. You have to know how to save. You have to know how to So you see that a lot of times the problem is not the other person. It is actually the fact that we are not developing. That's the honest truth. Somebody is asking now, what are your worldviews towards parenting? And you're saying, me, any child like this, give me, I will give them, you don't have any knowledge reserve anywhere to show that this might actually be an interesting person to want to be around. We are too boring. I'm sorry to say, a lot of Christians can be boring. The only thing we want to do is have spiritual knowledge, which is extremely important. I am a pastor. I will never downplay that. But you have to understand that your spiritual knowledge must translate into something that we can see. You spend time praying and fasting, but when you speak, we must understand that your brain is hot. We must understand that you have things to share. We must understand that you have something to add to the conversation. So you have to go into what? Self-development. You have to. You can't just be, all I want to do is get pregnant, have children, have a family, build one house. No. What are you adding? And that value comes from where? Self-development. So you see how self-development is one of the key things that makes you attractive. When he has seen the makeup and when she has seen the six packs and everything, what is she going to go home to? Is she going to eat the six packs? Amen? No. Is he going to eat your Mary Kay? No. What really will he find attractive and keep him staying there or her staying is the development you have made. That you can have conversations, political conversations. You can even talk about football. I mean, in this part of the world, in these seasons, we just finished the Cup of African football from Africa or something. Football, African, I think they call it AFCON. You see me, I need to go and develop myself. And my husband is someone who enjoys sports, soccer particularly, all right? That's one of the things he likes to do in his favorite time. It would be very foolish of me to just say, you know what, change the channel, let's go and watch series. No. I must be able to hold conversations. Oh, that's a foul. No, you didn't pass well. Oh, no, that's an offside. Some of you don't even know what it means. What is offside? Which side? You will even be asking, where are we scoring? Are we here or there? What's our jersey color? But we watched the finals, Nigeria and one country, and my country didn't win, Nigeria. Sad enough, but we became second. We're able to watch the whole thing and we were talking about it. Oh, no, the referee is this, or that. And they were talking and it just makes everything sweeter. I'm being honest. So I'm trying to get you to know why you should get self-developed. Another thing about self-development is that it exposes you to more people. All right. One of the things I hear a lot that young ladies say or young guys say is nobody is coming. I always ask them, are you putting yourself in the right spaces? You want to meet such and such person. Are you putting yourself in the right spaces? You must ask yourself, because church is not the only place where people find husband. Amen. It's not the only place. Are you putting yourself in high value spaces? Give an example. You are taking a trip from Lagos, to Ibadan, or from Lagos to Abuja, and this happens a lot. How do you dress? When you get to the airport, do you go to the executive lounge? Or do you just stay somewhere, or you're in one corner and you're thinking that nobody can meet me here? Where do you shop? Or you want to do a master's, you want to do something, do you go to good places where you meet high value people like yourself? Are you doing upgrade courses, expensive ones, so that you can meet people who have the same value for education? Do you go for church meetings and church seminars with people who have the same passion and drive as you are? You need to put yourself in the right spaces. And you are only going to do that if you choose to develop yourself. So you see what people want to do? We want to eat all day, sleep all day, press our phones all day, develop nothing, and hope that our Mr. Right or Mrs. Right will jump on us. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So I'm going to just quickly, in 2 minutes, talk about 3 or 4 things that you can do for self-development. Number 1, as always, know your values, know your priorities, so that you're not developing yourself in something that you don't need to. I mean, I can just imagine myself saying, I want to go and develop myself in cake baking skills. It doesn't make any sense. Except if I want to do it for my kids, all right? That means it's going to follow my value. So whatever you're going to develop yourself in should follow your value. You know that you want to run a business, or you want to be a 9-to-5 career chick. Go for all the expos. All right? Go for all the presentations or all the seminars. Go for them. Improve yourself. All right? Number 2 is know your strengths and know your weaknesses. Where are the places I need to develop? All right? So self-development is also personal. It could be personal things. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Take an assessment. Take a feedback and outline them. Then when you know what you need to develop on, the next thing you want to do is plan your personal development. Put it on a schedule. Every Monday, 10 a.m., I'm going to be at the gym because I need to lose weight. It's part of personal development. I need to eat 3 times a day because I'm too slim and I need to gain more weight. It's part of personal development. Okay? I'm a young lady and I think that I need to upgrade how I look so that I have a bit of makeup skills. Not that when we see you, the eye pencil is like this, the mascara is like this, you look like a masquerade. You are not going to wait for anybody. Take a class on makeup. You don't have to be a makeup artist. Take things that you don't know how to dress. All right? Follow pages online that know how to dress. You'll be surprised that it's on the comment section. You just like, oh, I liked how this is arranged. It looks like this, and that's where your Mr. Right or Mrs. Right will find you. Praise God. So plan it. Put it on a schedule. Know what you need and go for it. We always talk about long-term planning and short-term planning. Plan your finances. Plan everything. Put yourself in spaces for personal development or self-development. Number 4, and I love this so much, explore new activities. Explore new things. Oh, single guy, single girl, don't stay in your room all day. Go out. All right? Try something new. Go out and take a French class. All right? Try a new podcast. Learn a new instrument. Do something new. Develop yourself. Get into a book reading community. I know people who have found their spouses in prayer meetings and in book communities as well. You like reading? Find out the book community around you. Go into that space. You're a young person, you're a Gen Z, find your Christian creative community. Find something, but go out of your space to do something to improve yourself. You never know what would happen. But for 1, you definitely will get better. 2, you'll be in charge of your life. 3, you most likely will meet the right person for you in that space. 4, when you eventually meet them, you'll be able to keep them. All right? So it's so important. These things are so important. Another thing I wrote here is be kind to yourself. And that's important. Don't over-criticize yourself. You can't over-criticize yourself. Love yourself, be kind to yourself. Don't pity yourself, all right? Don't pity yourself. Have compassion on yourself and grow yourself. Lastly, I would say invest in your health. Your health is so important. Invest in your health, invest in your well-being. And I think I should say this lastly, never stop learning, all right? Never stop learning. Even when you're married, never stop learning. Never stop learning, okay? Go for that extra degree. Always add more value to yourself. The whole idea of self-development is adding more value to yourself so that you are much more valuable to whoever is coming to your space. They will see you as, this is an asset to have, not a liability to check off my list. I hope this has helped you. Thank you for watching. So next week, I'm going to be doing one more final episode on this. And I'm excited about what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about what to look for when you are picking. Now, that's what you have been waiting for, right? You and I know. You and I know. We're going to be talking about the list, all right? His list and her list, what your list should look like. And lastly, we'll be talking about how to become an irresistible woman. I can't wait to share this with you. Now, the guys are like, oh my God, so how do I become an irresistible man? Don't worry, everything I say, just flip it for the man. Or just get your girlfriend to watch it. Or the girl you're looking at like that, just get her to watch it. All right, so the next episode is going to be the last one-on-one episode. And after that, we're going to have a talk show. I can't wait for that. We're going to bring people here who have maximized their singlehood, gotten married, girls, guys, and we're just going to talk to you so you can hear from other people. And that will be so exciting. So one more episode, then a talk show, then I have a final, a final plot twist. Dum, dum, dum. I won't tell you that now. I spoke to my editor about it today and he was like, oh yeah, that's a nice idea. That's a nice idea. So we're going to do it and trust me, you'll love it. By now, you should know you should subscribe to this channel, right? I shouldn't be begging you to subscribe because the premium content you're getting is very premium, all right? So make sure you like, subscribe, and share with someone who you know needs to hear this. Or you can just put on your social media handles so that, we get more people to like, subscribe, comment, and it will help us get the news to more people. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Bye.